Congratulations, everyone, on the awards. Well deserved. Good morning, Director Harvey, Assistant Director Williams, coordinators, Sheriff Agnew, Sheriff-elect Creasy, distinguished guests, family and friends. Welcome to the graduation ceremony of Elite Basic Academy Class 151. Class 151 has been a particularly special class. If I were to pinpoint a word to describe this fine group of deputies and officers, I would narrow it down to growth. Growth is an interesting concept and not often accepted within the realm of law enforcement. So if you could all bear with me for a few moments, I would like to break down this growth I've been given the opportunity to witness while with Class 151. The progression through our time in the Academy did not come without its trials. As you can all imagine, these newly certified law enforcement officers you see before you did not start off in these finely pressed uniforms. I know, after 20 long weeks of training, it still surprises us all that there was a time before this crisp uniform, shiny badge, and a loaded gun. The first portion of 151's growth began with the ever so dreaded physical fitness and nutritional monitoring. Now, I know you can't tell from the look of it, but I by no means would consider myself an expert in physical fitness, and certainly the furthest thing from a nutritionist. However, I had recently concluded my time in the United States Army and kept up with a consistent running schedule, so it's fair to say I was semi-confident in my ability to at least keep up. Unfortunately, on July 29th, 2019, at approximately 0700 hours, a physical specimen walked into the auditorium, something for which the class was not prepared for. We were introduced to an individual who stood about 6'2", roughly 195 pounds, and I'd say 2 to 3% body fat. The anxiety began to set in as I couldn't remember if I signed up for the police academy or to be a contestant on The Biggest Loser. Wearing one of the tightest and most intimidating button-down shirts I've ever laid eyes on, and muscles ripping through the seams, it appeared as if this scary man had just shotgunned a pint of pre-workout and completed an Ironman all before I could crack open my first Diet Pepsi of the day. This man was none other than Coordinator Marks. All jokes aside, he proved there was a reason behind all the push-ups, sprints, squats, you name it. As a class, we went from having multiple physical fitness failures on the first PT test to every single recruit passing the state-mandated law fit examination. In a profession where your life is on the line every day, this class has accepted the responsibility of making sure they are physically ready to answer the call. That I would call growth. The trials did not end there. There seemed to be a turning point in the academy where we all started to come together. In the law enforcement profession, working together, and more importantly, leaning on one another is absolutely crucial. This display of togetherness was never more evident than when, dare I say it, we were doused with the unforgiving hellfire known as oleoresin capsicum, aka pepper spray. Prior to that day, admittedly, the class was slow to come together and build relationships. We had spent the previous few weeks innocently taking notes and going about our business with no true test of what it meant to wear the uniform and rely on one another. It was a Wednesday, as I recall, when we approached the end of an unbearably hot August, when Class 151 was scheduled to take on the dreaded OC spray. The afternoon heat index of 105 degrees, combined with a heavy lunch that wasn't sitting quite right, made for the perfect afternoon for team bonding. I then watched as our class leader, Mr. Bryant, volunteered to take a face full of fiery venom, which set in motion, well, to be honest, lots of screaming, yelling, crying, and what I can only assume to be a biohazard's worth of snot pour from all these recruits. However, as each recruit stepped forward to accept a punishment we did not feel we deserved, we all stepped forward together. Once I was exposed, I could not physically open my eyes due to the sheer pain for the next hour to an hour and a half. However, once I caught my breath, I could hear all those who went before me cheer each other on and push through the pain, in order to help their fellow classmate. It was at that point, I feel, a brotherhood was formed. This little, insignificant, painful experience created a bond not shared by many. It created a sense of togetherness and, more importantly, friendship. This obstacle could have pushed us apart, as frustration is no enemy to pain. However, Class 151 was on a journey of growth, and we capitalized on the opportunity to come together. Class 151 was subjected to countless scenarios, examinations, and obstacles, all of which I could say for certain we still don't understand. However, we can all agree that we are desperately looking forward to that aha moment where it all clicks. The weeks wore on, and we eventually made the transition into the tactical side of our training, from control techniques to the range, to whipping our rides out on the track, emergency vehicle operations, and eventually to answering calls for service in our proudly worn uniforms. The recruits from 151 were slowly becoming cops. This portion of the academy was extremely beneficial and eye-opening, as it allowed us baby cops with our baby blue guns to apply the knowledge that was crammed into us in a very safe and controlled environment. Scenario after scenario, the sweet, little, wide-eyed baby cops took their failure, and instead of complaining, they decided to turn it all into experience. Little by little, it was becoming clear that each of us was growing into our profession, and all were exhibiting a confidence that our pre-academy selves could only dream of. Early on in the scenario training, we would all gather and gossip in fear about what was behind each door that we would be forced through. By the end of it all, the confidence we all acquired may have even turned into a slight cockiness. Now, I hope we can all contain this mentality, as I'm sure each of our field training officers will humble us the first chance they get. And also, don't forget you are no longer responding to the makeshift 7-Eleven in the mezzanine of the testing area. So be sure to fall back on these times at the academy where you were allowed to fail and utilize the growth and confidence you've acquired here. There are countless people to thank. First, I wouldn't be here without the blessing of my sheriff and his administration. I sincerely thank you for trusting me to serve and wish you well in your retirement. I want to thank Sheriff-elect Creasy for allowing me to continue my career, as I have recently sworn into his administration. Sir, I look forward to working for you. To the staff here at the Academy, as well as all the instructors from around the state, you are all pulled in a million directions, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you for all the knowledge and the time you put forth into developing the next generation of law enforcement. I can say with confidence, Class 151 hopes to make all of you proud. To my girlfriend Katie, you have been a rock star in this whole process. Being away most of the week and still taking the time to help me study all weekend, every weekend, has been an unbelievable blessing. I thank you. To my parents, there's absolutely no way I could ever pay you back for everything you've ever done for me. I cannot begin to express my gratitude. I am fully aware that I was a late bloomer when it comes to being a self-starter and self-motivator. I know it wasn't easy to watch as I let opportunities slip by early in my life, but you continue to have my back and support me. Like I said, I can never repay either of you for what you have done, but I would like to start by dedicating the first A I ever truly earned in an academic setting. This A was a result of actually spending countless hours taking notes, putting my head in a thing called a book, studying flashcards, and sleepless Sunday nights worrying about Monday morning exams. So thank you. To my brother Nathan, your development since high school has been an incredible thing to watch. I may not show it, but your work ethic and determination in your career has motivated me to work harder, become a better person, and I'm so proud to say that you're my brother. Last, but certainly not least, my grandparents. I've been absolutely blessed to have you in my life. Although we may not live close, our weekly phone calls filled with lectures and constant encouragement is something I will always cherish. You both mean the world to me, so thank you. I believe I speak for everyone when I say Class 151 could not have done this without the support of family and friends. So with our deepest appreciation, thank you. I would like to conclude my time before you today by offering some advice to the newly sworn law enforcement officers. A quote by President Ronald Reagan. "There is no limit to the amount of good you can do if you don't care who gets the credit." This quote has stood out to me for some time. In order to work in this capacity, it takes a desire to serve and a willingness to sacrifice. There is no credit to be had in this profession, and more often than not, the recognition you do receive may help persuade you to move on from law enforcement. From now on, you will wake up, chug as much coffee as you can, chase the radio, and see things most of society wouldn't understand, and be expected to do it all over again, day after day, for 25 years. I urge you to keep that deep desire to do good and push yourself to utilize your position in law enforcement to affect the lives you encounter every day in a positive manner, no matter the circumstances. Unfortunately, most won't care, including those you do help. So rest easy knowing you did the absolute best you could to help those that call upon you. You have all proven to me throughout this process that you're here for the right reasons, and I am truly saddened that we won't get to continue on in this journey together. We have all grown so much through this process, and I would be proud to patrol the beat with any one of you. So Class 151, have the courage to fight, the strength to win, stay safe, watch your six, keep in touch, and God bless.